it's nice when you can play, I think, around 50% completion, which is just terrible. And then, to have a win on the road in a hostile environment against a good team. So yeah, that's nice knowing that we have that. But there's still a standard that I try and set for myself and try and hold myself accountable to. So I need to do that. I think my footwork was clean. Just about making the plays when they're there. I really don't think it's that complicated. Everybody's going to try and make an excuse. I pretty much hit on it after the game. Just got to make the damn play. It's that simple.
Baker Mayfield, Browns quarterback, discussing the issues with his accuracy. It is affecting the offense. Fortunately, they have a great defense. When you give up 6 points one week and 7 points the next, you're more likely to win those games no matter what your offense is doing. Peter, Baker Mayfield has a partially torn labrum in his left shoulder. That happened when he foolishly tried to make a tackle after an interception against the Texans in week 2. That surely is affecting him in some way. And I'm not saying it's time to bring in Case Keenum, but Case Keenum has shown in the past that he can get it done when working with Kevin Stefanski. But they need to do something. This Odell Beckham Jr. connection just isn't working between Mayfield and OBJ. They've got the running game, but they expect more out of Mayfield. He expects more out of himself. Maybe it is an injury thing. I don't know when it gets better, but it hasn't been good from a passing standpoint the past couple of weeks.
But, I'll say this about sort of the long term of a season. And, Mike, you talked about it a few minutes ago, how in a 17-week season, the highs and lows, we talked about how the Rams were the king of the hill a week ago. They get obliterated by the Cardinals. Now it's the Bills. And things change so much every week. But I'll say this about Baker Mayfield. And obviously I don't know what effect the labrum in his left shoulder has to do with his right. I'm sure it's got to be very uncomfortable when he makes throws, and especially when he gets hit. But my feeling is that Kevin Stefanski is one of the smartest guys in the NFL right now in all things offense. And he has to know, particularly with a strong offensive line, they've wanted to be the counterculture NFL team anyway. Why do you think they have 2 number 1 running backs? Their backup running back won the NFL rushing title as a rookie. And so I think they are very comfortable right now with basically saying to their offense, there's nothing wrong with winning games 21-13. They all count the same. And at some point later in this year, in a big game when we need to be explosive, we will be explosive. Because, Mike, I'm just telling you one other thing. I think when you don't have Jarvis Landry, OBJ, I think it really has a major impact on what Kevin Stefanski can call and wants to call because of the defensive pressure and defensive attention that Odell Beckham Jr. has.
But Beckham was open multiple times last week, and Mayfield just flat out missed him. And again, I don't know whether that's their inability to connect or Mayfield restricted. He was 15 for 33 last week, and he targeted Beckham 7 times, completed only 2 passes to him. But the running game is great. 21 carries for Nick Chubb, 14 for Kareem Hunt, and they keep churning up the yardage. The defense, though, has been playing so well, they're going to keep winning games. They've got the Chargers this week. This is a sneaky great game. Pete Demolitis raised the question yesterday. Has there ever been a Browns-Chargers game when both teams were this good at the same time in the history of both franchises? Both are 3-1. The Chargers are looking great. And, that defense of the Browns is going to win this game. Right now, that's what's carrying this team if they're going to win the game. I'm not sure that they will. I think I picked the Chargers to win. Who the hell knows? It was yesterday. I forget everything about yesterday already except last night's game. But this could be a great game, and this is a real test. And this is kind of like the same idea as Bills-Chiefs. Couple of teams from different divisions, same conference, 3-1, 3-1. If you're gonna have a meeting again in January, you want to have the home field advantage for it, and that tiebreaker plus the game you pick up in the standings, 4-1 versus 3-2, huge difference in this game based upon who ultimately prevails.
Mike, let's go back to 2016. It's only 5 years ago. In 2016, Brandon Staley was the defensive coordinator at John Carroll. right there in the Cleveland area. And in 2016, the Cleveland Browns were 0-14 when I believe it was Christmas weekend, or right around Christmas, that weekend, the San Diego Chargers came to Cleveland, and the Cleveland Browns won one of the ugliest football games in the history of the NFL or in the history of any professional sports league. The Cleveland Browns won to go 1-14 and to avoid the 0-16. But by the way, they didn't avoid it for long.
7-6 was the final score of that game. 7-6, and it was
20-17 was the final. 20-17.
There was a 7-6 around there somewhere. Well, it wasn't that ugly then if they scored 37 total points. But, yes, that was Phillip Rivers
and
the Chargers. And they went to Cleveland, and Cleveland got their win to avoid 0-16 for a year. Next year is when they would achieve the 0-16. But should be a great game. Again, could be a playoff preview, just like Bills-Cardinals or Bills-Chiefs. I'm looking ahead.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.